players...
Mech Reno Paladin?
Yeah. I mean, we see players who are trying to beat Warrior, specifically Control Warrior at least, you know, in this tournament have been able to have quite a bit of success.
I wonder.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder how important it was for Bloodyface to even just have that lack of proactive game plan here. And it turns out it's extremely important because he's not able to actually present any threat, and it doesn't like he's going to run the Hunter out of resources anytime soon.
Oh no. No, Viper's not running out of resources. He still has a Dire Frenzy in his hand. I mean, he's attacking for 2 damage off lethal next turn. Tundra Rhino plus Wyvern, 13U. Yep. And Viper's not one to typically make these snap plays, but this is a pretty clear one. I will bring you down to 1 life, your turn, and look at my hand.
Bloodyface has some pretty decent life gain with the Demolisher and Ziliax and the Weapons Project, but that seems like it's delaying the inevitable. And if he goes for a Hail Mary, say a Town Crier Brawl, he goes up, and let's say he wins that,
I wonder.
he might still be dead anyways to a follow-up Tundra Rhino push.
I mean, there's even the axe throw from Zul'jin here, so even if he were able to say Ziliax attack into a guy, brawl, win the brawl with Ziliax.
I mean, yeah, he needs this.
He needs this. He needs to win the brawl and then play Weapon Project's hero power. He did not win the brawl, he is dead. Yeah. And you know, we see with a relatively aggressive opening, but more importantly, just the pressure that he's able to layer repeatedly late in the game, thanks to Dire Frenzy, thanks to Zul'jin. Viper is able to take a 1-0 lead in this series after dismantling Bloodyface's Warrior.
Yeah, very effective use of the mid-range Hunter, and goes to show you where it truly shines in currently in Conquest, just to take down the Warriors, to pressure the Mages. Yeah, it's a little weak to Rogue. We just have to ban that, just take out some of the slower decks.
Yep, absolutely.
In the meantime, I think Bloodyface knew that going into it, that if your opponent's leaving up Warrior, they sure as heck have a game plan for it.
Yes.
So this shouldn't be that surprising. The question becomes, this is something that I was thinking about. If Vipers bring an anti-control Warrior lineup and then bring something like Zoo Warlock, which struggles a lot against it, I kind of wonder how that dynamic plays out.
So I think I recall Bunny Hopper saying earlier that their lineup isn't necessarily anti-anything. It's intended to have no real major holes and have the ability to have game against pretty much everything.
All right, well, we'll see how the series continues to develop as we are just getting started with this best of 5. More action from the Hearthstone World Championship when we return.
My name's Brian Easton, also known as Bloodyface, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I've played a lot of different card games in the past competitively. I actually used to play poker professionally online before the US government shut down PokerStars in full tilt. I've always just wanted to play games my whole life, and I think Hearthstone right now is my favorite game to play. No other card game I played has so many smooth features as Hearthstone does. So I think Hearthstone tournaments go a lot deeper. When you play against somebody that's also giving it their all, and you know they really care about it and you really care about it, it's just so much fun. It's kind of like an adrenaline rush. Nothing really compares to it. I was studying computer science, and my last job was a software engineer, just basically coding all day, every day.
I quit my full-time job a few months ago and was streaming full-time.
My family wasn't thrilled when they heard I quit my job to play Hearthstone full-time, but I think they do support me. They were mostly concerned about me finishing and graduating college, which I did, thankfully. So if Hearthstone doesn't work out, I still have a good safety net. Being in a game like Hearthstone, I just want to be at the very top. It's not really enough for me to have moderate success. You know, if I don't make a breakout performance and get to the very top, then I honestly might just go back to doing software development.
Some people just go by, okay, it's a mathematical problem. There's always one answer that's the right answer, the right call, the right decks. But figuring it out is not easy. And I'm probably one of the guys that wants to do something different, not just go with everyone expects, try to counter, try to beat what people bring.
Viper takes it 3-2.
A lot of people made like those statistics about who's gonna make it out of groups, who's gonna win and so on. And they just took HSV play, stats and decks and whatsoever, but playing control decks like Mage, Shadowbox Shaman and so on, if you play them well and you face the matchups you want to face, they are like way better compared to the statistics you're just gonna get by looking at ladder. I cannot bring the same stuff as everyone else and then expect to win. I have to do something different to overcome them.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Hearthstone World Championship. Viper currently up 1-0 over Bloodyface, looking to cement his lead with the remaining decks that he has. And you know, that recording that we had from Bloodyface, that was at the beginning of this competitive year, back in the summer championship, where he's like, yeah, I quit my job to go full time. It's not enough for me to just be mediocre. I want to be the best. Fast forward about 9 months later, this guy is at the World Championship. He's in the Grandmaster system, and he is absolutely crushing it.
I believe he's the first player ever to make back-to-back top fours of championships. There was a championship where he qualified. He once again made the top four of the championship at the last championship. And, you know, he is absolutely killing it. I mean, there are players who say that they think he may be the best player in the world. And we heard in his initial piece, he doesn't practice with other top players. He practices with himself.
Yep.
He uses the borrow a deck feature on Hearthstone to open up 2 copies of Hearthstone on his computer and play through matchups by himself.
Yeah, and it actually started because he couldn't find good practice partners. Right. A lot of people were waiting for rotation, like most people who were playing Hearthstone. And so Bloodyface like, well, you know, helping me practice for the World Championship is a very like narrow thing. Like everyone else is invested in playing like qualifiers for Las Vegas, for example, and that's a completely different format. Who wants to like help this guy play Conquest? So Bloodyface decides, you know, create another account, borrow his own decks and play. And he said, you know what, this is actually more efficient testing.
Yeah.
And since then, he's kind of just been a one-man show, and I respect that a lot because, you know, when you see players who practice with a bunch of people, it feels difficult to just credit just them. It's like a group of people won that event. But Bloodyface, like when he wins, it feels like, you know, he earned it himself.
Yeah, and he is here in game number 2 with the Hunter deck, very similar to the Hunter deck that Viper just played against him. You know, similar sort of plan with the Zul'jin, Dire Frenzy, Unleash the Beast top end, as well as the low end of all of these 1-drops, plus Hyena, Hatchet, etc.
Yeah, and this is good matchup for his Zoo Warlock.
Just gonna say, a very different matchup, though. The last matchup we saw was one where Bloodyface was hoping to take the game very long with the Control Warrior deck, and Viper was able to exploit that. This is a matchup where the Zoo deck is looking to come out very quickly, and it can end up running you over before your sort of big cards can come into play.
Yep, that's right. Speaking of big cards, of course, Archvillage for
Very controversial card.
Yeah, very controversial card, but you know, I'm definitely a fan of shenanigans, and I think we saw some last series. I'd like to see some this series,
That
too.
Timberwolf is a very interesting draw from Bloodyface. Double Timberwolf here allows him to just trade an individual Spring Paw with his Crystallizer, and you know that's pretty huge, because this 1/3 is normally a very difficult card for him to deal with these 1-drops, and you know this gives him a Lynx in hand that can kill another 3-power minion,
right?
Or 3-health minion rather.
Yeah. Although the caveat to that is Viper is playing, you know, a list that I think a lot of people were latching onto at the beginning of the expansion, having Archvillain from, having 2 Soulfires. And the reason why people were starting to push out Soulfires was how powerful Magic Carpet was to win back the board. A lot of times Soulfire, yes, it was good direct damage to the face, but you just want to keep protecting your small minions. Yeah. You don't really need that if you have Magic Carpet, and yet, you know, Viper and Bunny Hopper are still choosing to go for that double Soulfire. Do you like that?
I think that Soulfire, you know, also just gives you a little bit of extra reach, which can come in very handy. It depends on the matchups that you're really trying to beat, because sometimes you really just need a little bit more oomph. And speaking of oomph, that's a Scavenging Hyena Lynx turn that is possible for Bloodyface, but it would require him trading off multiple minions into 1/1s. It would only give him a 4-health Hyena, which is vulnerable to that Soulfire.
Yeah. No, it's one of those weird things where because you're playing very passively onto the board, and you know how clutch is this stealth?
It really is.
Because there's not a lot of positive interaction on this board for Bloodyface, his best bet is actually just to ignore the board, but then that plays directly into Viper's hand, assuming that he has appropriate answers for it.
Yeah, Bloodyface, you know, his most powerful draw in this matchup in general is Unleash the Hounds. And it's particularly powerful with the Scavenging Hyena. So I will suspect, okay, he's actually just going to go and play the Hyena and just push with all the damage to the face. Not going to take any kind of trades whatsoever. He's going to force Viper's hand here. Magic Carpet is the draw, but it's pretty weak against the board that Bloodyface has assembled.
Yeah, and the downside, of course, for Viper is that without direct hand buffs, or sorry, minion buffs in his hand, such as Direwolf Alpha or Abusive Sergeant, this doesn't exactly spell a very ideal turn from Viper either.
Yeah, and Viper looks like he's going to play Flame Imp into Soulfire is his plan here.
I think that's the right call. You have to stop this Scavenging Hyena and the Timberwolves from running away with the game.
And he hopes to oh, that's not good.
That stinks.
And he wants the, yes, okay. So for Viper's perspective at least, he got the buff on the Imp. If he got the buff on the Egg, that could actually be actively detrimental because the Egg ending up getting the buff means that it's harder for him to get itself killed with a Abusive Sergeant. The Unleash the Hounds could be powerful here. It does decide to just fire off the kill command.
Yeah, I was thinking about popping the Egg and Unleash the Hounds and what implications that leads to.
Another Flame Imp, and this is one of the dangers of
oh my goodness!
And Direwolf Alpha is a really powerful draw here.
Wait. No, hold on. It sets up a big board for Unleash the Hounds to destroy.
It does. Well, he can Direwolf Alpha and at least just kill the Timberwolf if he wants to, which means that the Direwolf Alpha doesn't die on board.
Yeah. All right, I buy it.
It is, obviously against Unleash, this has the potential to be disastrous. If you use your Direwolf Alpha, attack into the 2-power minion, get your Egg killed, then Unleash the Hounds runs you over.
It's true. This looks tempting to pop the Egg, though. I'm not gonna lie.
It does. It absolutely does. From Viper's perspective, was there an opportunity to play Unleash prior to this? If it was that card in Bloodyface's hand,
yeah.
He's gonna go ahead and pop it. And I think from Viper's perspective too, he needs to do this, even if he can't give Bloodyface just as much time to draw Unleash to just continue to be able to pressure him. And even if he does have Unleash, does Bloodyface need to clear here? Bloodyface doesn't have enough damage to actually just end the game at this point.
Oh yeah,
he's attacking for what 8, 9, 10, 11, puts Viper to 7.
I like that.
Yeah, it might be good enough because Viper doesn't have Grim Rally, but Bloodyface has to at least think about the possibility of what happens if he does.
Yeah, one kill command was used though, so it's not like he could spray it. But
I would
nice
expect
thing
to
is
at least see the Direwolf Alpha die.
Yeah, I like Direwolf Alpha die and then like face with everything else. I want to put pressure on the Zoo Warlock's life total, mainly to shut off their hero power possibilities.
Yeah.
That's a nice pickup.
Woodwalker is a very good draw, and these Scarabs will be able to at least take out the Timberwolf.
Yeah, but you're fighting a losing battle.
It's true.
So Viper, so his outs, so to speak.
Flame Imp really hurts here.
Flame Imp puts him in a position where he just dies the turn he plays for Farm because he's just 3 hero powers away.
Right.
And he can't end the game fast enough. So Flame Imp feels like it's just going to be an extra card for Farm.
Get in there, fight, maggot.
He's got to buff it. Really kill that wolf.
Oh yeah, overkill. Unfortunately, no overkill stats on the Scarab.
Yeah, Viper wants a legendary off that Imp.
Yeah.
Ooh, Hog Speed. Oh yeah. Snipe, all right. Well, Thunder Rhino is quite powerful. He can play the Thunder Rhino and clear off this board, which leaves Thunder Rhino. Well, he doesn't need to clear the board necessarily.
I like this weaving in of hero powers.
Yeah,
Next turn you can Thunder Rhino hero power as well.
That's true. You get to use your hero power. You get to clear this anyway.
Yep.
Still end up with presence to the board and get the snipe down.
I think Viper plays his Witchwood Imp and then does nothing. Goes to show you just the importance of things like Magic Carpet to help stabilize the board. That snipe goes down, and Viper's just defenseless. Viper's dead.
Yep.
The turn he plays for Farm. I don't know if there's one thing to bail him out. There's no heal. We ditched the Voodoo Doctor a long time ago when Happy Ghoul rotated out.
And
Absolute steamroll.
Hunter picking up some quick wins for both players here.
And that's a pretty big upset. I mean, Zoo Warlock was, trying to prey on things like mid-range Hunter, being able to have that edge. There's still the good Mage matchup, which, as we get closer to it, I do wonder how the Summoner Kagdar Mage is going to be able to do against some of these decks that are out there trying to prey on it. Mid-Range Hunter was a good deck against the Mage, so was Zoo Warlock.
And now here, Bloodyface, he has remaining his Warrior deck and his Mage deck. And the Mage deck, as you mentioned, quite weak against Zoo, but his Warrior deck, quite weak against Viper's Mage. So, this is kind of a hoping, each player hoping to get a particular matchup. Viper really wants his Zoo into Mage, and Bloodyface really wants to get his Warrior into the Zoo deck.
Yes. And if at all, try to avoid, the Mage encounters, I guess, with the Warrior. Although, I guess it depends on who you ask, really. Like, some people are like, well, if I'm accounting for Mage, or if I'm accounting for the Warrior, my Mage deck will be really good against the Warrior. And then at the same time, I've seen the Warriors still be able to outlast them because they don't draw the Mountain Giant. Or if in your Bloodyface case, you're playing Big Game Hunter.
Yeah.
To just snipe the Giants. It's like, okay, well, that helps a lot.
It does, yeah. Bloodyface's version of Warrior is definitely a bit stronger in that matchup than many, due in large part due to that Big Game Hunter.
Right. Yeah, and it just goes to show you the meticulous preparation that these players try to go to the next level. Okay, if my Warrior gets through, they're trying to target it. What are some decks that are trying to target it? Mage is good against it. Gonna have to make sure I get a lot of removal.
He also has Super Collider, which is a card that's somewhat fallen out of favor in Warrior decks, but in particular against a Mountain Giant plus Conjurer's Calling. It's like, oh, you got 2 Giants. Okay, they're dead.
All right, well, Game 3 is about to begin. It's a pivotal one in this series as who can grab the lead and get themselves one step away from the winner's match and face up against Roger. Here we go. Mage versus Mage. Oh, this matchup can get real degenerate sometimes if it becomes, one player having Mountain Giant, one player does not.
Yeah. I mean, the most important card in this matchup is actually that one that Bloodyface has in his opening hand, Book of Specters. Book of Specters is what these decks are built around. And it's a big part of the reason why I feel like a lot of the versions that we've seen, or at least saw early on, that play Power of Creation were generally making mistakes. Because I think Power of Creation is a card that pulls against your Book of Specters, which is just what your deck is built around. You can't play your Mountain Giants early if you don't have Book of Specters, or at least sit there and play only cards that don't fill your hand and then just naturally play it on turn 5 going first, turn 4 going second, which doesn't give you a very good game against most decks.
Right.
But I feel like in this mirror match, Viper's build looks to me like it ought to have an edge. He is playing 2 copies of Voodoo Doll where Bloodyface has none. So he has the ability to remove big minions like Mountain Giant. Also, he has 2 copies of Arcane Keysmith, the 4-cost minion that discovers a secret. And that can be very powerful in a number of situations, whether you hit a, let's say a Spellbender for your opponent's Conjurer's Calling, that can be disastrous for them. Or even hit just a mirror entity. There's not very many small minions that you can play in a lot of, or rather you can afford to play in a lot of circumstances.
Oh.
Ooh. Well, the second Book of Specters is very good that you can't actually play it here without discarding. I probably have more games played with Book of Specters Maze than anyone else in the world, considering I played it all last year, so I know all the flashpoints.
Well,
before it was cool.
He does have his Conjurer's Calling. Is Bloodyface playing any other spells besides that one additional copy? So no, he's going to pretty much...
Wow, he's going to play it.
All but guarantee that he has a full hand.
Yeah, playing this here, you will overdraw. Unless you hit your other...
Conjurer's Calling?
Your other Conjurer's Calling,
which
right?
you don't really want
right.
to do because it's so good. And either way, you do get to play the Mountain Giant on 4.
Right.
So it's something that Bloodyface is considering.
This guy's going, he's playing it. He does hit the other Conjurer's Calling. So I
How
guess,
did he do that?
I guess he's not going to overdraw.
That was amazing.
I have to wonder, was this specifically because he wants to? I mean, obviously, getting that mana out of the way and playing the spell is valuable if you are not wasting a resource. If this is if it is a matchup that is more based on tempo, which I believe this is.
I think so. I think he's fishing for maybe a specific card.
Yeah, he could be looking for Khadgar. Khadgar obviously gives you extremely powerful options alongside Book of Specters.
Yeah, because it makes sense if you play Giant on 4, Khadgar, Conjurer's Calling.
Yeah, Viper does overdraw from his Book of Specters, and now this is kind of a test for Viper. You know, do I want to just use my Voodoo Doll plus coin to kill this here? If I do not, and my opponent has Conjurer's Calling, then I may have lost my opportunity to actually deal with it. However, I just saw a Conjurer's Calling get hit off of a Book of Specters. Does that mean that I think that Bloodyface is less likely to have Conjurer's Calling in his hand because there's only a single copy remaining? And if he does use his coin here, you know, does he fall too far behind?
Oh, you're right. And I think that that greed here from Viper, which is very warranted, might end up being a huge punish. Nice thing, though, is because the Twilight Drake will survive.
Well, interestingly, Viper has Khadgar. So Viper has Khadgar calling for 4 drops against just a calling for 12 drops.
Sure.
So, you know,
it's a lot worse.
It is, but, you know, is Bloodyface a situation where he wants to just leave this up and go for his Conjurer's Calling here? He could remove it. He could, you know, use, say, Ziliax here.
Yeah, Ziliax protects him.
Yeah, I would expect we're going to see the calling. If we do, there's 2 more Giants. And now I would expect what we see from Viper, because it's really the only thing that I think can hope to claw him back into this, is the Khadgar into calling for a bunch more stuff. I mean, he could, you know, use that that Voodoo Doll here, but he's again facing Conjurer's Calling.
Right.
Khadgar plus Calling, you know, uses this 4-drop with only 1 health left.
Yeah, the twin spell aspect of Conjurer's Calling is really backbreaking this position.
Yeah, you know that no matter what, your opponent can do it again next turn. And you also, also if you do Khadgar plus Calling, you could get MC Teched and Conjurer's Calling next turn.
Jeez. I think Viper already feels like he's so far behind, and we're kind of talking about how volatile this matchup can be. It just reminds me of the Handlock days, where it was like Mountain Giant. All right, I'm just gonna try to avoid it. Oh, I faceless my Giant and push, or if I cube my Giant and push.
Yeah,
these are just the really big punishes in the matchup.
I think he's going for it. I think he's like, okay, I need something.
Oh, I think he got a Houndmaster Shaw.
No. Oh, he did. He did.
Are you serious?
Kill one of them. Okay. All right.
And he burns his Khadgar. What is happening?
Okay. Well. So I mean, I think Bloodyface has to kill Houndmaster Shaw. Houndmaster Shaw is way too devastating to leave on the board, because it means that Voodoo Doll just kills yourself for 3 mana. You can play Voodoo Doll, rush it into something else. You know, I don't think that just attack into Conjurer's Calling is a reasonable option for Bloodyface here.
Right.
He's gonna, okay.
Boy, he said you just had difficulty clearing 1 of these Giants, let alone 2, or both of these Giants. I'm gonna put them again.
Oh my God.
Okay. This game
Mountain
is
Giant for Viper. He can Mountain Giant attack, Conjurer's Caller Mountain Giant, clear the entire board. This is crazy. Oh my God. This is just so explosive back and forth.
Yeah, you don't have to watch the Avengers movie anymore. You just got all the action you ever needed. This is the Hearthstone I like to see.
It's like the opposite of the Thanos snap. We just double everything in play. We just double it. Back and forth.
Balanced, as all things should be.
I mean, I think that Bloodyface is going to very much regret not clearing that Houndmaster Shaw #2.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, at this point, I don't even know what to expect. I just want both players to draw nonstop Deathwings at this point.
Well, I mean, from Bloodyface's perspective now, how do you get back on this board? This is now a Houndmaster Shaw protected by a 7/8 taunt. It's a 7/8. You can't crowd roaster that.
You can crowd roast the 3/3.
Yeah, and then there's just the 7/8, and then your opponent gets to deal with your 7/4 and just have a massive tempo advantage.
The thing is, if he went for the clear on the Houndmaster Shaw, he would not get the Conjurer's Calling on the Mountain Giant opportunity anymore either, because then there's the Voodoo Doll rule.
Right.
So it was kind of a weird checkmate scenario for Bloodyface. It's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It's true. It is true.
And maybe Viper saw that line and he was able to go for that gambit, which if that's what ends up panning out, that is brilliant. And if not, then he is one gambling man.
And look at this voodoo doll off the Hellmaster shot.
And the rush.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Look at this. Like, Hellmaster shot is so insane when both players just have a bunch of minions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the decision to leave Hellmaster Shah up may have just been a serious error for Bloodyface here, because it is just not a card that you can beat if your opponent has a reasonable hand. If your opponent has anything, your decks are very similar, right? And if you have similar sorts of things you're each doing, the person just gets to attack first. It's like you're playing against another warrior, and they have Dr. Boom and you don't.
Yeah, and right now Bloodyface can play 2 Scale Worms.
Yeah.
To clear the board.
And kill 1 minion.
I think that might be his best course of option to survive. He doesn't have a good mind control tech play because there's 3 minions. Ziliax here is very weak. And the nice thing about Houndmaster Shah, the nice thing about playing against Houndmaster Shah is it's still only rush. It's like Dr. Boom. You don't have to worry about your minions getting value traded constantly, which is what's happening.
Time runs out on me. What to do?
And Viper too, he's consolidating his board to 3 minions. He's playing around this MC tech. Is there really a way for Bloodyface to get back in this?
I think the double Scale Worm has to come down here.
Yeah.
It's all defense from this point on.
You can't play defense against the Houndmaster Shah. You just can't get any foothold in the board as long as the card's in play.
It is not fair to say the least when you get the Houndmaster Shah and you get all the initiative. I mean, we're talking about how Dr. Boom Mad Genius is great. Now you get a minion that gets to attack and keep that buff.
Unless you kill it, you gotta kill it.
Well, you could kill it. Viper has potential ways to even just like cement the game 100% if Fire Tree Witch Doctor picks up Burn. And he's weighing all of his options, and I like it. He's not rushing into things. He's thinking, okay, what are some possible ways that I lose from this spot because I'm so far ahead?
I feel like the Astromancer play is weighing on his mind in terms of I don't want to possibly get MC teched. If he gets MC Tech, say, takes Houndmaster Shah, then another big minion can come down and possibly clear off the rest of his board.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely something that Viper is worrying about here, and I think we may just see a single minion come down for that reason.
Unity, precision.
Yeah, I like it. He still sets up lethal. With a moment's hesitation, considers all the possibilities. He also knows that Bloodyface doesn't have Conjurer's Calling himself anymore because the second one got burned from the Book of Specters. Right. Therefore, he can't abuse that and then go for mind control tech.
Rabble Bouncer, not a great defense.
I think Bloodyface might be just cornered here. The Rabble Bouncer plus Ziliax, I guess, is his best defense. That seems so bad.
I mean, there's no way to defend yourself with taunts against Houndmaster Shah. I keep saying it, but it's just true. Because, as long as your opponent just gets to play big things that can attack right away, you're just going to get killed.
But the alternative is to remove minions, and he can't remove enough. And Viper was calculating for the crowd roaster and things like, other removal tools. There's going to be 7 damage no matter how Bloodyface cuts it. He has to play taunts.
Yep.
And the nice thing, I guess, is that Ziliax at least gains life.
King Ziliax does keep him alive, goes to 10.
So he thinks until Fire Tree Witch Doctor does something about that to maybe add damage to end the game. Fire Tree Witch Doctor can discover any burn spell. Not any burn spell, because Ziliax gains life. It can discover Fireball. Cinderstorm will also do the trick.
Well, Fireball won't actually end the game, right? He's at 10. And then the life steal of Ziliax.
Yeah, so the Fire Tree Witch Doctor trades in, and then you fireball.
It's the third. Oh no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I was briefly forgetting about the rush.
After you were talking about it so much,
I was like, wait, what?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think the point is that Bloodyface is in desperation mode, and Viper. I mean, honestly, this Astromancer might be able to pick up like a charge minion and end the game.
I feel like right now Viper's just trying to avoid disaster. I feel like he is in a absolutely dominant position.
Yeah.
And he has any number of ways that he can try and win from here. And he's just trying to figure out, what is least susceptible to disaster.
My calculations are flawless.
Oh, okay.
That works too.
Yeah, and now he's like, I'm going to make a board that, I'm not vulnerable anymore.
How are you going to do Shaw like that, man, after he was so good to you?
I know. He just came to hang out.
Heartless.
You did him dirty like that, just threw him to his death. He could have easily survived.
And now Bloodyface, I think he's completely cornered. He's got nothing. If he plays Rabble Rouncer, he can't play the Crowd Roaster.
I wonder.
I don't see any way for him to get out of this game. At least not alive.
Arena's full. Beat it.
And I think with that, is that enough with the Dragon Maw Scorcher?
Yeah. Dragon Maw Scorcher.
Looks like it's going to be it. That was an explosive game. And Kibler, it is so appropriate that we are in a basketball stadium because I just watched a game of NBA Jam in Hearthstone.
He's on fire.
I mean, he had Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway, and he just went in. It was complete domination from the Houndmaster Shaw and the Conjurer's calling plays. Woo!
I mean, that was a game that just turned around so quickly. It looked like Bloodyface had the Book of Specters into Giant, and had the Conjurers calling for his Giant, but with his kind of desperation, Khadgar Conjurers calling. Viper was able to get a foothold on that board, and thanks to Houndmaster Shaw and Bloodyface's decision not to remove it when he did have a brief window, Viper never let up.
Yeah, and I'm also realizing how crucial that Mage victory was, but we'll explain why. When we come back, we're just getting knee-deep. We'll find out what happens at the conclusion of the series when we return to the Hearthstone World Championship.
The name Bloodyface is not like something that has super significance with me. I was drunk playing Hearthstone with my friends at like 3 in the morning, and I was making an account, and I'd never played the game before, and we were watching a TV show called American Horror Story, and I was just could not think of a screen name, so I literally put down the first thing that popped in my mind. Little did I know it'd carry on with me into my professional career. I feel like as I climb the rank ladder, I'm definitely collecting more blood on my face, the blood of my victims, as any serial killer would do.
Yeah.
Different options as well, which is what is confusing us.
Basically just freestyled on us.
I don't want people to come think I'm actually a serial killer, though. I quit my software engineering job earlier last year to pursue Hearthstone full-time. I wasn't qualified for any big tournaments when I quit my job. I wasn't a big streamer. I pretty much had next to no resources other than some money I'd saved up. And I basically had a dream of being a Hearthstone player, and I put in a lot of hard work and put in a lot of effort. It is possible to take a risk and have it pay off.
Bloodyface, showing that control can get the job done versus aggro, even with these quest rogues.
So it's pretty frequent that I'll stay up for 24 hours prepping. I feel a lot of anxiety, getting closer to the deck submission deadline. I just want to make sure every card in my lineup's perfect. When I'm not playing Hearthstone and I want to find my happy spot, the best thing I do is just take a bath. I find taking a bath just to be very relaxing, just soaking in the water. To my fans, I'll stay as calm and collected during the match as I am in my bathtub.
I'm Viper. I'm from Magdeburg in Germany. Everything kept on going. Even after I qualified for Worlds, I still wanted to essentially just win the next tournament. I went into every tournament with like the same ambitions. I just wanted to win. I wanted to perform well, and it kind of would be cool to be the role model of other players. In terms of, if you think some deck is good, if you think whatever you're doing is right, then just do it. Just believe in yourself, and sometimes, I don't know, Peanut Shaman is a good deck.
And the Viper is going to the next round, to the championships, in fact.
all of the media stuff that happened from 2016 championship throughout 2018, all the tour stops, then casting the German HCT together with Kamlan sometimes. It's a nice feeling to one time be on the other side talking about, well, what are the players doing right now? What do they think about going for those lineups? And I don't know, I really enjoy that. I'm regularly streaming beginning this year in December and so on as well. I guess the more prize money I earn, the longer I can try to build up a stream. I really like talking with people, I like teaching them. We actually end up in useful discussions. Those are kind of the fun things besides always competing, always trying to the best and always having to win, when you can just hang out with the community and give something back as well. Yeah, I just really want to keep performing well. I want to keep doing well, and maybe at some point I'm going to wake up and be like, okay, actually, it's all going really, really well now. Like always, I'm super grateful for everyone that is supporting me, everyone that's like, I don't know, every tweet or every like message I get that says like, I voted you for my champion, I believe in you, nice decks. Like all those little things, I really appreciate them. And yeah, I'm going to try to give you those 4 packs.
Viper is currently up 2-1 over Bloodyface, and definitely some question marks over what can happen the rest of this series. Right before the break, we mentioned how big that was for a victory for Viper. The reason why is because I think the Zoo Warlock, while it looks good against Summoner Mage on paper, I kind of like, didn't realize how tech the Mage is for Bloodyface to destroy decks like Zoo Warlock with the inclusion of a Mossy Heart with Baron-Geddon, obviously the normal stuff like Dragon Maw Scorchers, double Rabble Bouncers, and Mind Control techs. I think he's got a lot of game. So in my mind, I think Viper needs as many chances for Zoo Warlock to get through either the Control Warrior or the Mage deck.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense here. And I do still feel like the matchup against the Mage is probably better for him than the matchup against the Warrior. The Warrior is just so chock full of removal.
Oh, yeah.
The double Warpath, double Brawl, double Dynomatic, Super Collider, Weapons Project, all these ways to chew apart those. And frankly, though, Warrior matchup is a big part of the reason that Bunny Hopper and Viper chose to play Archvale and Rafam. They said that they recognize that a huge percentage of the games that you draw it's going to be bad, right? It's going to be a weak card, but it can give you this sort of backdoor out against Warrior decks when the rest of your deck just wouldn't do anything.
Yeah, well, we'll cross that bridge if we get to that point. We'll see if Viper can get to that Archvale and Rafam if he even needs it. For now, I mean, these are some spicy opening hands.
Yeah, they are.
Calling, Mountain Giant, Dragons, Synergy, Magic Carpet. With the Passenger that is, Knife Jugglers with Magic Carpet is just, Aladdin Jasmine.
Man, I think this is a very reasonable opportunity for both players to keep their hands if they want. Like, I don't know exactly what they're looking for. Yeah, Viper's like, okay, this looks good. 1, 2, 3.
This looks good.
Bloodyface, all right, well. I mean, Bloodyface, I think, is in a different position because Bloodyface may need to find sort of more defensive tools. But, the Giant is great in a lot of matchups. This is not necessarily one of them.
Yeah, I think he wants the Rabble Bouncers, he wants Mossy Heart, like just things that like help impact the board immediately. Because the Giant's most likely going to want to trade into minions.
Yeah, one of the things playing the Book of Specters Mage decks, you see those hands where you're like, ooh, I have Mountain Giant and stuff that can get me to a Mountain Giant by like turn 4 against a aggressive deck, and it may seem good, but it almost is always going to end up with you losing because you just didn't do enough and they hit you in the face. If he'd had perhaps Sunfear Protector in there, maybe you keep that sort of giant hand, but Bloodyface decides to go full on, try and find his tech cards, and does find MC Tech alongside 2 copies of Sunfear Protector, but nothing else to go along with him just yet.
Yeah.
Wow, coining out a Sunfury here. He wants to get the board right away.
And there's actually a question I wanted to ask you real quick. If you even coin out Sunfury Protector, because he doesn't have anything to use that Sunfury with.
It's true.
So it feels like you might as well just use it to combat, River Crocodile mode.
Yep. And specifically, Viper's version of Zoo, just the general version of Zoo you see now, is very, very board-centric. It's very much about building out a board, buffing that board with Grim Rally and such. Which leads to Bloodyface wanting to sort of chip away at that if he can right away.
Right.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and second Sunfury Protector. Let's go.
I like it.
I mean, he even can use the Conjurer's Calling, right? Ooh, and there's
yes. Yes. I want to see some shenanigans. Please make it happen.
it may seem a little bit silly here, but Viper or Bloodyface could just kill something with this 2-drop and Conjurer's Calling it next turn if he doesn't have a good opportunity to use something else.
Right, and in Viper's mind, maybe that's what gives him the idea to just triple trade.
And he also has Magic Carpet against a deck that he knows has 2 mind control decks.
Yeah.
So I think that we may see exactly that. We may actually see attack, and then attack with the Witchwood Imp and buff the Magic Carpet.
Yeah, that's fair.
Buff the Magic. Is that like Puff the Magic Dragon? Buff the Magic Carpet. No.
Oh man, that's another parody song for you and Natalie to make, won't it be? Oh.
Okay, well he's gonna leave it up.
Hedge.
Yeah, a little bit of a hedge here. Doesn't want to leave himself vulnerable to the mind control tech. And this is an opportunity. Bloodyface doesn't have great use for this mana. I mean, he could ping. He could attack then ping, but he does leave himself. I guess with the Magic Carpet down, the 2-drops also just become way less appealing. Right, so Conjurer's Calling into 2 2/2s, well, they just die to 1-drops out of your opponent's hands. They're probably not really worth it.
Yeah, that's really scary, but I'm hard-pressed to find a better use of Conjurer's Calling as the game continues to develop.
I mean, I wonder if Bloodyface actually just wants to attack the carpet.
Yeah.
Get it down.
For the Scale Worm to kill it next turn?
Yep. No, he's going to go with the Conjurer's Calling.
I like it.
Gets a 2/2 and a 2/3. And
how appropriate is it, River Croc?
And Viper, he finds a Flame Whip. If he finds another 1-drop here, this is particularly powerful.
Yeah, I mean, Viper doesn't have that many 2-mana minions.
I mean, these decks are pretty much, what, over half 1-drops?
Yep. This is actually a fairly similar position as we saw in the previous series with Zoo Warlock, and Viper in the backstage was encouraging a tap. It was like Knife Juggler off curve, or it was like tap for a 1-drop. And I remember he was like trying to talk about you got to tap for that 1-drop to win it. It was a different matchup entirely, of course, with different contexts.
Right.
It's just one of those interesting things where I'm curious to see what he does. I do like the idea of tapping into it though, because it doesn't seem like Knife Juggler here is particularly impactful versus a 1-drop that you get is a huge payoff.
Yep, gonna tap. Finds another Juggler. So this he can get, he's gonna go ahead and buff up this carpet, keep it out of range of the Scale Worm, crucially.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate for Viper.
This is powerful, but he's going into the middle turns of the game without really much threat, right? This is an opportunity for Bloodyface. Can you just Scale Worm this anyway? Put it to 1.
Right.
And that means that the Dragonmaw Scorcher can come down and kill the carpet next turn.
Right. Yeah, Bloodyface drawing double back-to-back dragons to give himself a solid game plan.
Yeah. And Scale Worm is pretty poor overall in this matchup because it is a deck full of so many small minions. You're not really getting value true to the Scale Worm into a 3-drop. The 3-drop in this deck is Magic Carpet.
I'm trying to think of an alternative if Bloodyface chooses to go for Twilight Drake instead, but I think the more you analyze it, the more I kind of like Scale Worm.
Yeah, I feel like getting the carpet off the board is really important. He's not going to, though. He's going to go ahead and just play the Twilight Drake. And I think that maybe the thought process here is, well, I didn't see any 1-drops last turn.
Exactly. Viper floated a mana, which means that he's missing 1-drops.
Right. So, maybe that means that this carpet isn't a big threat and that I have the ability to...
That's actually a very, very astute observation. Yeah. I wasn't really thinking about that. Viper can punish, though, if he taps into a 1-drop and gets Direwolf Alpha with the buff. But it's not really that big of a deal for Bloodyface because he's able to respond back with Scale Worm or Dragonmaw Scorcher. That was actually a very good spot by Bloodyface, the more I think about it. Because if Viper doesn't pick up that 1-drop that he needs, then he's stuck either playing 2/2/1, which Magic Carp doesn't have that big of an effect, or he has to life tap again. And that means that Viper is fighting a losing battle because card for card, Bloodyface's deck goes better toe-to-toe than Viper's.
Yeah, the longer this game goes, certainly the more it is in Bloodyface's favor because he just gets to spend a bunch of mana doing very powerful things each turn, whereas Viper, he's tapping and hoping to find things that are sufficiently impactful. But a lot of his stuff is not that high impact. All right, no life tap this turn.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Viper so far.
Huh. Well, once again, Viper playing around, well, doesn't have an opportunity to play another thing, but keeping his board to 3 against the deck with double MC tech.
This is just loading up the board with like maximum threats. Like Bloodyface would love to scale worm all 3 of these things down.
To do.
Can only choose a couple though.
Bloodyface can kill the wolf or the knife juggler, and Conjurer's calling this, but his Conjurer's calling is going to get an average, similarly sized minions, so I think he may hold on to that. He can also just kill both the juggler and the direwolf alpha by attacking and using the scale worm.
Right.
Again, like not many big things for scale worm in this matchup.
Yeah. I think killing the...
Oh, okay. This turn he's going to go ahead and hit the carpet.
Oh, wow. Woo, I don't know. When you come up on 6 and it can tap into double 1s.
There's a Soulfire, That's actually kind of interesting because Soulfire, I don't know if you want to be discarding your Rafam. maybe you need to be Rafaming.
At this point, I feel like Rafam would be your win condition because you're so far behind you can play it on curve. So if anything, Viper might just play Knife Juggler Flame Imp, get maximum juggles, ideally get the trades, and then Rafam, and then once you Rafam, Magic Carpet can be free to go because you don't only have 1-drops.
I don't even 1-drops in my deck. What am I going to play? A Chameleos?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, is that the only 1-mana legendary in the rotation right now?
I think it is.
Like Sifter's Errors left a long time ago.
Yeah, I think are those the only 2 in Hearthstone other than Patches?
So many.
Oh,
those
please
3.
do not remind me of that.
He didn't cost 1, he got 0.
Yeah.
Let's be real. All right, well, we're going to see Juggler into the Imp. 1 goes
That's
face.
not a juggle he wants.
Ooh, face again.
Okay, ends up panning out.
Yep.
Actually, in the ideal scenario. Yes, I want to see some Rafam action. On the backside, Bloodyface being limited by the single dragon because he can't play Dragon Ball Scorcher for a little bit of time.
Well, he can clear
though.
The scale worm draw means he can just scale worm ping.
Yeah.
So he can clear this entire board. Could just choose to play Fire Tree, but I think that look like he's actually debating it. He's like, well, you didn't have another 1 that turn.
Yeah, he's like struggling at his 1-drop, so he's like thinking, what does he have?
What are the cards that make sense to be in your hand if they're not 1-drops?
And if it is Rafam, the Fire Tree Witch Doctor gets himself ahead of it so that he can trade into Rafam the next turn.
Yeah.
There's merit.
Ooh.
Solarium is
actually
interesting.
Because next turn you can Solarium and Rafam.
Right. And like increase your hand size significantly.
I don't know that you can wait.
But you still have 2 legendaries to play, and legendaries are fairly expensive right now.
Yeah, I feel like, and we see Viper thinking about it.
I'm not sure if I like waiting here.
I think that's the only card that you could draw that would really make you think. But I feel like you just give your opponent the turn to play a 7-drop. Your opponent can just play Astromancer, and then you're just behind, and Rafam isn't good. Yeah, I feel like you'd have to have such an incredibly powerful... You have to have like Talanji and a bunch of big things.
You know what it is?
And then you just lose to MC Tech.
You know what it is? The hypnosis of Solarium
really
Golden Animation is what's throwing him off. He's like,
All right, it is the arch villain Rafam.
Woo! I like that.
Heistburn Togwaggle, not so good if you don't have the ability to generate any lackeys, and I don't believe there's a legendary way to do so.
Yeah. Well, still, the point is that he's going to have pretty big things to play. I just like that, there's Malygos, and I don't think there's ways even to easily generate spells, though.
All right, what do you need? What do we need here? You can't get like Rodent.
Like Ysera? Ysera gives him stuff to use with Malygos.
Ooh, an egg. That's actually insane with Conjurer's Calling. You can Calling that away.
Oh, wow.
You can get yourself an 8/8 and 2 5-drops.
I was thinking Ziliax, but Conjurer's Calling is like super good with that.
Yeah. That's actually sick.
Sure. Yeah, because you don't have to worry about, yeah, you don't have to worry about the fact that he can't attack.
All right. Hexler Malacras.
Hey.
Whoa.
He gets a lot of card draw all of a sudden.
What did he have in his opening hand?
He had a 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop.
But he loses. I mean, Heistburn and Togwaggle and Malagos are both pretty weak. Malacras is probably good.
It gives him a Knife Juggler. It gives him a Crystallizer.
Are Knife Juggler, Crystallizer, and Magic Carpet even good here? I mean, this is your best tempo play is Hexler Malacras anyway.
Oh, the gang's back together again.
All right, well, I mean, hit him in the face.
That's some damage.
It's a lot of damage,
chunky.
There's a Book of Specters.
This game got really weird.
Yeah, all right. We're going to see the Book of Specters, of course. Crowd Roaster, not enough mana. Mountain Giant, powerful, but...
It's funny how Masihara is not going to be effective against a deck full of legendaries.
Oh, Blizzard and Cone of Cold are both very powerful when your opponent is spending a bunch of mana playing big things.
Yeah, I like Freeze. I don't think Power Creation is very viable now.
Yeah, I like the cheap Freeze here for sure.
And I do like that
Power Creation on the egg, or rather Conjure Throat. There's an 8/8.
Oh no! Wait.
All right. Well, that's a 4/1. Gunk. Okay, now we need Jiraxis. Gunk Jiraxis, just smash
And
through
then what?
everything.
Hit the Robos.
Well, we can see. Oh, he's gonna tap. All right. Face Collector. Right, so many legendaries, so little time.
I feel like I'm watching an old Total Biscuit video right now. Oh, if he lands this juggle on the 4/1 though.
Yeah, he's got the rush regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And he gets to push to 5 face damage. 15. He's at. Yeah, there's 15 showing on the board.
I feel like he almost just has to go face. Like, what's he gonna do, right?
Okay,
like,
he can draw Jan'alai and then go for the Ragnaros finish. Wait, how is that lethal?
15. He has 15, 16, 17, 18. That's lethal. Just
I think the Baron Geddon is a
Baron Geddon the damage to face is lethal.
This is such a weird game.
This was pretty bizarre. We've had some crazy stuff happen in these Conjurer Mage decks.
All right.
I'm happy we're seeing a game 5. Because we're gonna hopefully see another Rafam, and maybe someday Rafam will win a game.
Well, according to Viper and Bunny Hopper, if Rafam can win a game, then his job was done.
Literally, their explanation was if Rafam wins 1 game in 10, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Because their argument is that you have it can be like, that's such high impact in a matchup like Warrior, which can be so tough. That is the matchup he's going into now, right? Then the Rafam giving them the ability to steal a win when they get rid of all their low impact stuff in the mid to late game, and maybe get just a huge board and huge handed deck full of really powerful minions.
Yeah, precisely. No, it makes sense, and I guess we're gonna go into Game 5 momentarily as the Summoner Mage is able to finally get a big win. Game number 5 will be Zoo Warlock going up against Control Warrior. And that's going to be coming up for you right after this break. So don't go anywhere. We're going to find out what happens in the conclusion of this series right after this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the HCT Winter Championship. 16 of the greatest players in the world have gathered this weekend to compete for $250,000 in prizes. And, of course, the final 4 spots at the HCT World Championship.
I know that this might be my last HCT experience, so I did prepare a lot, but I was a little bit nervous.
Now is the time that I can completely focus on Hearthstone. I'm not about slacking off just because I can.
And Bunny Hopper is going to finish off the clean sweep.
This even Paladin, he's just getting stomped, to be completely honest. A couple of bad draws from Tonsoku.
I love playing wacky games, and I don't know, I feel like that's naturally like what I have more fun doing, and when you have more fun doing something, you generally do it better.
Frostwolf Warlord, trade-off on the board. Fatigue's gonna set in, and Thunder Up's done for him. Level 2 Ike is pretty strong.
Doesn't matter if they're stealth or not, but regardless, Viper has 3 Malagoose into Sinister Strike, and he leads 2-0 in this match.
Yeah, that's brutal. My lineup is very polarized against the majority of people. Jing is one of the, I think, 2 or 3 people in the entire field I'm very uncomfortable against.
The quarterfinals!
Worlds spot on the line for Jing in this one. Viper's already going through the Worlds. And his play, honestly, looked pretty impeccable to me throughout this. I am extremely impressed with Jing and a wonderful representative for China in the World Championship.
Yeah, it's going to be Roger versus Definition. Puts on the Doomsayer, but that's not going to do a darn thing. Which means that Roger is going to end this game, take the series 3-1. and move on to the top 4 with a spot at the World Championship.
The semi-final.
Bunny Hopper doesn't even need to draw more cards. There is nothing Jing can do about these constant pings, and there is the concede.
Roger, he will end that struggle. Mind Blast in the face, ping, Mind Blast, and that is it. Roger is moving on to the finals.
This is it. Bunny Hopper versus Roger. Bunny Hopper looking for his 2nd seasonal title in just this year. And Bunny Hopper just scraping to try to stay alive.
Concede.
2-0 for Roger.
Malagos. It's the only minion.
That's the only minion. It's Velen and Malagos. Those are the only 2.
Velen and Malagos. Yeah, Velen and Malagos. Only minions in the deck.
That's it. Roger's digging deep. He's thinking, he goes, I didn't misremember this, right? And you see him counting it. This is not the time to mess that up. There's the Malagos. Roger, 10 damage from the Mind Blast, is the aggressor somehow in the matchup and becomes the Winter Champion.
Game 5 is upon us. The rubber match. Who is going to advance to the winner's match? Who is going to drop and fight in Elimination Day? We'll find out. And Elimination Day is tomorrow. And if you win here in the winner's match, you will go directly to Sunday, Championship Sunday. Shout out, by the way, to all of the hardworking Hearthstone Esports admins running a Masters qualifier right now for Las Vegas, as well as some featured Grandmasters player. You may have seen Patra and Sohyun over there, just hanging out and playing some games.
Yeah, we have a bit of a bigger crowd than yesterday. Obviously, Thursday in the middle of the day is not necessarily conducive to having a huge audience. We have quite a big crowd.
Thursday at 9 a.m., you're not going to show up to the Hearthstone World Championship.
A lot of fans out here in the crowd, a lot of fans hanging out, meeting some players, playing some Hearthstone, and I hear we're actually sold out for the weekend. So
yes,
looking forward to that crowd. But now I'm looking forward to this game because we have Warrior, Control Warrior from Bloodyface, up against the Zoo Warlock from Viper. And this one can be rough for the Warlock deck.
Yes, it is an abysmal win rate. 30% win rate for Zoo Warlock. That's almost as bad as it gets for any of Zoo's other matchups. In fact, I think if you look it up, it is its worst matchup.
And I think this is a big part of why Bunny Hopper and Viper chose to include that Archvillain Rafam in their deck, because they wanted to have some action for this matchup, some way that they can fight back and turn all the kind of weak cards they have into something powerful.
This is a pretty good start though for Viper.
It is.
He's gotten the Ethereal and Cobalt Lackey, 2 highest impact ones.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at Magic Carpet to potentially do some make some big waves here. Dude, what if Hecklebot pulls out Archthief for Fom? Are you like happy or sad as Bloodyface? Probably sad because there's a 7-8 on the board.
Right, I think it depends when it happens, right?
But then he has a Brawl. Yo, look at this. Shield Slam on a 2-2.
I mean, think about it though. This is a matchup where there aren't really big minions. This is not even the Sea Giant version of the deck, right?
Right.
So you just kind of want to get some of the minions off the board. Your shield is going to get worse as the game goes on and you're taking damage. It's going to be hard to use effectively. And I think that just looking at the way Bloodface wants to sequence his turns, he's going to be playing the Militia Commander next turn, probably a Militia Commander Super Collider the turn after that, unless he needs to brawl. So, just preventing that damage is his priority here.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Shield Slam, like you said, gets worse, so why not use it to stop damage that he inevitably needs to remove anyways?
A lot of people, they don't want to use what seem to be premium removal on small minions, but that I think is one of the things that you need to pay attention to when you're playing a controlling Warlock deck. You're not necessarily just looking to hit all the premium targets. You are often just looking to stay alive so you have enough time to leverage your powerful removal effects.
Bloodyface has the Militia Commander but can't snipe the 1/6 minion just yet. Hecklebot into a Zilliax. That's something that he'll be looking for, but it's pretty idealistic to think that Hecklebot will survive if you leave up Magic Carpet.
Yeah, there's just the carpet in play means that that's what Bloodyface needs to deal with. There's no way that you win with taunt against a rush minion. That's what we talked about with the Houndmaster Shah that came down, and he decides, okay, well I'm gonna try to take down the carpet, defend the gates. And now just a bunch of 1/1s in play, but Some of those 1/1s in hand can get real nasty with that carpet.
Right. I kind of wonder if Viper wants to invest also in a Knife Juggler in this position, but he is coming up on the Dynamatics and the Brawl turns.
Right.
And that is something that he has to account for. So no matter what, he wants to keep his health on the board above 5, but he also doesn't want to extend too far forward.
Yeah, actually trying to partition your threats against Control Warrior can be so difficult because they have so many different types of removal that demand different things. You know, when you're trying to beat Brawl, it's like, okay, I don't want to have too much on the board. Trying to beat Dynamatic, it's like, well, I need to have more on the board. Trying to beat Super Cloud, you're like, well, I have to have things on the board, but they have to be in the right places and the right sizes.
Yeah, I think Viper might just go with Crystallizer and the Cobalt Lackey is the maximum amount. Oh, actually, Witchwood Imp is a lot of health too because it's plus health.
Yeah.
Works well. The nice juggle. You can go for another one with Crystallizer to max.
Doesn't have much time to do much else.
Okay. So he's good against Dynamatic.
Yep.
Still has vulnerability to Brawl, obviously, but still has kept a lot of his power in his hand.
And now he also has 2 minions that Bloodyface kind of wants to get rid of as soon as possible in the form of the Carpet and the Knife Juggler. Carpet is less of an issue if he's not trying to play, say, Hecklebot. Ooh, the Super Collider, though, does let him kill both of them because of the way that Viper positioned.
Oh.
And I wonder if this is an oversight from Viper here. Perhaps he could have positioned that somewhat differently.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And not left his 2 sort of most impactful minions vulnerable to that.
Oh, my goodness. That's a really big deal.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's part of what I was talking about. There's so many different things you kind of have to keep in mind with respect to how do I actually divide my threats out over turns. How do I put my minions on the board? What minions do I put in the board?
Right.
And when there's so many different things that you're trying to consider, it can be difficult.
Interesting.
Plot twist, Dark Possession. Plot twist is kind of interesting because maybe you think, okay, what I really need is Rafam. Right? Maybe that's your thought process. Maybe you take Plot Twist and just life tap this turn.
Right,
and then plan to life tap Plot Twist next turn to try and find Rafam. Give yourself the most looks at it.
Yep. Consequently, your opponent's also keeping cards.
Right.
So you're messing up their disruption tools that they want to ideally line up. Dark Possession is a way to activate Scarabeg.
Yes. True. That's what he takes. I like the looks for Rafam myself, but
yeah. Does he want to put Scarabeg in a position where it can die, or does he want to keep it resilient to make it better against AoE?
It looks like he's trying to rectify the positioning last turn and say, okay, now Knife Juggler's next to something with 0 attack. That's not going to work.
Unless that's what he wants, and then he brawls. So if he attacked Knife Juggler and then it splits the egg, and then he brawls, and Viper's back at square one.
Yeah, right now on this board, there's no Super Collider attacks that kill 2 things.
What now?
Because you can't attack into a 1/1. It'll die first, so the 1/1s won't attack other 1/1s.
Does he feel like he has to do anything special? Like, what if he just Militia Commander pass? I think the threat of Grim Rally.
Yeah, Grim Rally is just terrifying here. You can't really leave this much up. I do feel like attacking into the Juggler and then brawling looks pretty appealing here, at least. Bloodyface disagrees. It's going to be Militia Commander.
I mean, if he's going this and he's not respecting Grim Rally, he can just attack a minion.
Yeah, it's true. No, he doesn't necessarily need to...
right. And he has Weapons Project to keep the weapons going.
There's Grim Rally.
And now the Dark Possession Grim Rally setups.
Yeah.
I wonder what demon he can really get. Dude, Duraxis. Oh, yes.
The problem is Dark Possession into Grim Rally does leave him still vulnerable to Brawl. He gets some damage in, but
That's fair.
This isn't really a burst-based deck. You can't find Doomguard off that Dark Possession anymore since it was sent to the Hall of Fame.
That's fair.
He could even Direwolf Abusive attack and then just Grim Rally.
Yes, and Grim Rally the Abusive Sergeant.
send it to the face.
Yeah, like forget trying to make the super collider not kill anything, just pressure. I like it. You just see how devastating Grim Rally can be.
Yeah.
That's a strong board. He has to brawl that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, this is a must brawl, and there's a dark possession in Kobold Lackey in the hand. Lackey's 2 damage at least.
So he has a super collider attack and then the brawl. There's no way for Viper to really play around that.
Right. Super Collider can definitely kill the egg, get the brawl off, but the brawl's going to leave very likely a sizable minion on the board. It's a 50-50 as to whether it leaves a 3-power minion or 1 or Bloody Faces.
Right. He can remove a 3/2 if he doesn't want to give that 1 out of 8 chance that the Militia Commander survives.
And I think it's better. You're giving your opponent 1 fewer good outcome, but you don't give yourself the just miracle outcome.
So less than 50% of the time, a 3-attack minion survives versus 12.5% of the time, the 2/3 survives. I think I'll take the 3 times the more likely outcome. And it does matter. We know that Viper plays a Soulfire deck. You need to minimize the damage stat.
And Bloodyface does not have much time to make that decision now.
Almost to the point where Bloodyface might attack, brawl, and then Weapons Project. Oh, Ziliax.
Precision.
Okay.
All right, he's just picking us apart. He's not going to brawl.
Interesting. Saving onto that brawl. Did he get the damage in?
This Kobold Lackey is going to kill the Ziliax. Magic Carpet. Okay.
So tap. Unless Viper wants to Dark Possession first, and then gets to see the Demon option, but then he can't life tap unless... no, he can't life tap successfully and play that card. But we'll see what comes out of Demon. The Demon pool.
Felguard, Pitlord, Succubus. I feel like Pitlord has to be your option here.
It's
yeah.
It's just the meatiest.
Right. And there's 3 damage on the board. You can Lackey, Magic Carpet into Lackey.
Yep. Push 3 damage. Put him down to 7. Bloodyface does have the Weapons Project and does have taunts in the way through Ziliax.
Ooh, this is interesting. Do you want to push the 1 damage, or do you want to get this off the board?
It's a tough position. This could be what makes or breaks the game.
Yeah.
That extra damage is so crucial, but you're not going to be able to get rid of this Militia Commander.
Harrison Jones. Weapon Project plus Harrison Jones is powerful, but it's not really something that looks like Bloodyface has time for.
I'm thinking about what Towncrier can really also pull, but I mean, he already uses Ziliax.
Yeah, and now he does still have this brawl, but he doesn't have any way to get rid of the egg.
You can Weapons Project.
He brawls. Yes, yes. That's true.
So
and he can play. So he's gonna Harrison.
That belongs in
okay.
Yeah.
So going for the card draw here. So get the 13. All right.
And he's
Shield Slam is such a big draw here for Bloodyface.
I think that's what he was fishing for.
It absolutely must be. He finds exactly what he needs and is able to take down so much of Viper's threats here.
Yeah. It may look like, oh, Bloodyface just happened to go for it, but he's calculating his odds in this position.
Yeah.
And he still wasn't dead.
Right.
If it didn't pan out, because he was at a safe 13 life.
At 11 now.
Although, if it was a Soulfire, tap Soulfire. Oh, man.
There's 3 on the board. Direwolf Alpha makes it 4-5. Grim Rally.
Some big damage.
6-7.
That's good.
That could put Bloodyface down to 4 life.
Yeah. There's also the Pit Lord setup too.
Yeah.
So if you like Mecharoo, Pit Lord, and then Grim Rally, push 5 damage instead, you put your opponent down to 7 life. The Pit Lord's at a 6-7, which is kind of meaty, but you're coming up. Actually, no, it's only 9 mana still, so they can't make a Devastator. I actually like this.
No, I agree. Yeah, looking at this, you're not actually getting lethal here.
I like this. And then if the Big Scarab survives, you're able to use that without to push a little bit extra damage.
5 damage comes in. 6 life for Bloodyface. Big board for Viper. Up.
The trade here is actually fairly important.
So this specifically is to protect the Pit Lord. So Bloodyface can kill off the egg.
Okay, is it time to brawl?
Brawl.
The brawl has a legitimate case to it with, oh, shoot, the Hecklebot.
Well, he can brawl and then play Hecklebot if he needs to, is the thing.
And the chances are he's going to pull a weak minion.
Right. There's only Rafam for really big things in the deck. Everything else is 1, 2, or 3 cost.
A razor's edge. He's not trying to even lose any single bit of life. He's going to brawl. And if the Pit Lord survives,
it's a big deal. Nope, Pit Lord is not the winner. It is
average result.
After all the abuse that lackey took from his evil overlord.
That damage is relevant too, because now Soulfire lethal is a possibility still if it's runner.
The Hecklebot here, he's going to kill it first.
Oh, the Hecklebot could have such a big punch to the Rafam.
Okay.
Viper's looking for Rafam or the Soulfires. Or Solarium.
Solarium! That is big. I wonder though if Viper may have the thought process of I want to hold the Solarium.
Oh, we're going for it, Gambler. 2 Soulfires.
Going deep.
One of them.
Only 1 Soulfire here. That is not enough to end the game.
But he can play his hand.
Yeah, he can play every single card here, and Bloodyface just used his Brawl.
Right. And he just needs one of these minions to stick for damage so that he can Soulfire again off the top. If any of these minions stick, that's all he needs.
3 life for Bloodyface, but now 10 mana. That means Omega Devastator. That means Omega Assembly.
Omega Assembly is huge because it could get him lifesteal minions or armor minions.
There's another Brawl, too. But if he brawls...
If he brawls and loses...
Yeah.
He can just remove with the Omega Devastator, but he's not gaining life. That's the big problem.
Bloodyface has Hecklebot, and he has the Big Game Hunter, so he can Hecklebot into Big Game Hunter if he does hit Rafam.
But then he's still dead.
Rafam, it's true. If he hits anything but Rafam...
Face me, you inept ingrate.
It's Rafam! Okay, well... That's the best Rafam's been all day.
Yeah, he's going to shut it down, but he's able to gain life. Here's the thing, though. Viper has a big board. Did he play both Grim Rallies? He has.
5 life for Bloodyface, just out of range of Soulfire.
That's off the top!
But it's not enough. The Hecklebot means he's 1 off.
He used both jugglers as well.
If he can find Evil Genius, Flame Imp comes down, Soulfire into the Hecklebot, allows him to chip away, take the Hecklebot down.
He's going for gold. 1 damage of lethal. Shield block draw for Bloodyface. That is a huge draw.
6 life now from the brink of death. Dinomatic! That will wipe out Viper's entire board. Rafam is gone. He got taunted. Subtle was backstage telling him how terrible he was. He came out to fight him with the Hecklebot. There's no miracles waiting in Viper's deck. And Bloodyface complete the comeback from 1 life.
Bloodyface takes the series in a comeback position, wins 3-2 and advances in the winner's match.
That was
Heck
wild.
of a series.
That was some fun Hearthstone.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting Rafam to come out, and honestly, I mean, the Big Game Hunter and the Omega Devastator had it covered, but Omega Devastator was so crucial because he needed to armor up.
Exactly. If he had to play the Big Game Hunter, he was dead. He needed every single point of armor that he gained that game. He was down to 1.
Oh, I'm tired. And we are done casting for today.
That's true.
Yeah, Kibler and I are
Good
done,
night. No.
but we have 2 more winners match because Bloodyface will advance to play Roger in Group D to decide who is going to the top 8. And the Cinderella story of the man who quit everything and left all that he had behind in order to pursue professional Hearthstone continues on as Viper will drop and play Tyler in the elimination match.
Yeah, and that match between Roger and Bloodyface is one that I think everyone here in this this stadium wants to see, because Bloodyface has that Control Warrior deck that Roger's lineup is intended to prey upon.
Oh, Roger was hoping Bloodyface would be able to advance through. And of course, in Group C, it's Hunter Ace versus Just Saying. I'm pretty envious that we don't get to cast that one, but at the same time, we get to enjoy it from the fans' perspective, which has been really exciting. The fans have been engaged, and it's been some long series, but Kibler, I've been having so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, we had some crazy matches throughout the day. Started things off with Just Saying versus A8 and had some absolutely crazy things, including Stormbringer. And now this match just here came down to the absolute wire. I'm loving it.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. We have 2 more matches, like we said, for the group stages, and then day number 3 is going to be Elimination Day, where every single game a player is sent home. Because today, in the past couple days, everyone still has a chance, but the chances are dwindling. And speaking of it, we have 2 chances, 2 slots for players that go directly to Championship Sunday. Who is it going to be? As Bloodyface was able to defeat Viper by a very narrow score of 3-2. We are more than halfway done through day 2 of competition here at the Hearthstone World Championship. Don't go anywhere. More HCT action continues right after this.